Welcome back to the Best Boss Whisperer. I'm your host, Danny Ceballos, and today we're kicking off a two-part series on something that is impossible to ignore right now, AI. Now, I want to be upfront with you. This is not going to be a hype episode. We're going to talk about what's going on over the next wave of the future. What we're going to talk about is practical. What do you, as a senior leader, actually need to understand right now about AI? What are you getting wrong? And what do you need to start doing differently? This is part one. We're going to tackle the 4 biggest misconceptions I hear from leaders, especially in healthcare and nonprofits, that are keeping them stuck. Let's get into it. So, I'm working with an executive director right now, a really competent guy, genuinely doing important work in healthcare. Man, but he's drowning. And like most leaders I talk to, he's got this vague sense that AI could help. He doesn't really know what that means for him. So we sat down and had this clear, honest conversation about what he actually struggles with day to day. And something shifted. He stopped thinking about AI as a vending machine. You plug in a prompt, you get content, and then you move on. And instead, he started thinking about it as a thought partner. Someone or something that helps him think more clearly about his actual problems. That single shift changed everything for him. And here's the thing. Most senior leaders I talk to are stuck in that vending machine mindset. They're waiting for AI to be simpler or safer or just to make their lives easier, but that's not what it does. And once you understand that, a lot of the confusion goes away. So today I want to walk through 4 things that I see holding leaders back from actually using AI effectively. And by the end, you're going to see why waiting or avoiding it or hoping it goes away, none of that is actually an option anymore. So let's start with the first one. Misconception number 1, I'm waiting for it all to settle down. So this one I hear all the time. Leaders say, look, AI is moving way too fast. There's so much noise. I'm just going to wait until the dust settles, until there's clarity and until it's more stable, and then I'll lean in. Well, here's the problem with that thinking. The dust is not going to settle. This isn't like waiting for a new software platform to mature. AI is fundamentally different. It's going to keep evolving, keep changing, keep surprising you. And every month you wait, your competitors aren't waiting. Your teams aren't waiting. The landscape is shifting underneath you. But here's what actually matters for a senior leader right now. You don't need to understand AI perfectly. You need to start using it. You need to have real conversations with your team about how they're using it, what's working and what's not. Because the only way you actually learn what this tool can do for your organization is by using it. Think about it this way. When email became mainstream, leaders didn't wait for email to be perfect before they started using it. They started using it, figured out what worked, and adapted. This is the same thing, except faster. The cost of waiting is way higher than the cost of starting imperfectly. Institutional knowledge. You're falling behind on capability. And frankly, your team is probably already using AI, whether you know it or not. So the first shift you need to make is this. Stop waiting for permission or clarity. Start experimenting. Start talking about it openly with your leadership team. Misconception number 2. It's destructive and resource intensive, so we'll avoid it. All right. So this one comes up a lot in healthcare and nonprofits especially. Leaders say AI is going to displace our staff. It's going to destroy jobs. It requires massive investment in infrastructure and expertise we don't have. So why would we touch it? And I get it. These are real concerns. But here's what I'm seeing in practice. The organizations that are avoiding AI are actually protecting their teams. They're just making their teams work harder with outdated tools. Your staff is already stretched thin, right? You're doing manual work that doesn't require human judgment. Data entry, writing first drafts of communications, organizing information, pulling together reports. AI can handle a lot of that. And when you free people up from that work, they get to do the thing that they actually went into their work, into healthcare or nonprofit work. They get to serve people, to think strategically, to solve real problems. That's not destructive, that's liberating. Now, as for the resource piece, yes, you need some investment, but it's not what people think. You don't need a whole new IT department. You don't need to overhaul your systems. You start small. You get your leaders and teams access to tools like ChatGPT or Claude. You have honest conversations about how to use them responsibly. You iterate. The real cost of avoiding AI isn't the investment you're afraid of, it's the opportunity cost. It's your team staying stuck in inefficient processes. It's leadership making decisions with incomplete information because you don't have time to analyze the data properly. The organizations winning right now aren't the ones with the biggest AI budgets. They're the ones who got started early, figured out what works for their context, and built a culture where people aren't afraid to experiment. In healthcare and nonprofits, that matters even more because your margins are already tight. You can't afford to ignore tools that make your people more effective. So the shift here is this. Stop thinking about AI as a threat to your workforce. Start thinking about it as a way to give your best people back their time and their sanity. Now, misconception number 3. Isn't AI just Google on steroids? All right, so this one's interesting because it's not totally wrong, but it misses what makes AI actually different and actually useful. Yeah, AI can search and retrieve information like Google, but that's not the power move. The power move is that AI can think about information. It can synthesize, it can see patterns. It can help you reason through a problem. Google gives you answers. AI gives you a thought partner who helps you ask better questions. Here's a concrete example. A leader in healthcare needs to think through a staffing strategy. With Google, you're searching articles, you're reading case studies, you're hoping something clicks. With AI, you describe your specific situation, including your budget, your staffing challenges, your mission, your frustrations, your dog barking, your anything you want to say that is actually part of the challenge, part of the problem. And then AI helps you think through options you might not have considered. It pushes back. It asks clarifying questions. It helps you stress test your thinking. That's fundamentally different from Google. Another thing, Google is reactive. You have to know what to search for. AI is generative. It creates new combinations of ideas. It helps you move from what exists to what could we do. For senior leaders, this generative quality matters because it changes how you make decisions. You're not just consuming information anymore. You're having real conversations with a tool that can hold complexity, remember context, and help you think more clearly. So the misconception to let go of is this. AI isn't just a better search engine. It's a different kind of tool entirely. And once you start using it that way, you see opportunities you were missing before. Okay, misconception number 4. We can't use AI in our organization. This one's the killer because it's the most self-defeating. Leaders say our data is too sensitive, we're in healthcare, we've got compliance issues, our systems are too old, our team isn't tech savvy enough. There's no way we can actually use AI. And here's what I want to say directly. That's usually not true. What's usually true is you haven't thought carefully enough about how you'd use it. Yes, you have constraints. Healthcare has HIPAA. Nonprofits have donor privacy concerns. Your sisters might be legacy. But constraints don't mean impossible. They mean thoughtful. There are huge categories of work where AI can help you immediately and safely. Strategic thinking, process improvement, writing and communication, training materials, data analysis on non-sensitive information, brainstorming. those don't require you to upload protected information. Those don't require you to overhaul your IT infrastructure. I worked with an executive director in healthcare who said, we can't use AI because of compliance. But when we actually sat down and mapped out his work, there was probably 40% of what he does that has nothing to do with patient data. Strategic planning, board communication, staff development, operational efficiency, all of that could benefit from AI right now. The real barrier isn't usually compliance or technology. It's clarity about what you're actually trying to do and courage to start somewhere. So here's the shift. Stop saying we can't use AI and start saying, where can we safely and meaningfully use AI? And the answer is almost always more places than you think. Your team is smart. Your organization has real problems that need solving. And you have access to tools that can help. The only thing standing in your way is the decision to start. All right, so there you have it. 4 misconceptions that are keeping leaders stuck and the mindset shifts that unlock real progress. Here's the one thing I want you to take away from today. AI isn't a vending machine. It's a thought partner. And the leaders who figure that out early are going to have a real advantage. Not because they're more tech savvy, but because they're more willing to think differently. In part 2 of this podcast, we're going to get practical. We're going to talk about what you actually need to do as a leader, how to lead your team through AI adoption, what decisions are yours to own, and how to build a culture where your people feel equipped rather than threatened. That's coming up next. Until then, keep leading well. I'll talk to you soon.